The Leicester Astronomical Society is for the casual and experienced astronomer alike. They hold talks on a wide range of subjects every 2 weeks at the Leicester National Space Centre. This is a great place for members to meet, learn new things, and to talk about current constellations and events. We spoke to some members of the Society who wished to share their experiences, what makes them interested in the hobby, and tells us about the various things the Society does and takes part in.
I've been a member of the Leicester Astronomical Society for, I don't know, probably about 20 years, under various presidents, and for 33 years I've been at the Leicester University Physics and Astronomy Department and subsequently the Space Research Centre, working on satellites for X-ray astronomy. So I've got like amateur astronomy as a hobby, and professionally I build things that go into space. So it's quite an interesting combination. I actually rub shoulders with professional astronomers who don't really know where the stars are in the sky because they just ask a technician to point a telescope sort of a few thousand miles away in the right direction. But an amateur astronomer, I sort of know fairly well where all the constellations are and how to point a telescope.
Right, well I joined the Society when I came to Leicester in the 1980s, and I joined it because one of my colleagues was the then president of the Society and told me about it, and the other reason I joined it was because I've always been very interested in astronomy since I was at primary school. I remember what got me interested was that there was a little library at the back of the classroom and there was a book about the sun, and I read that and I've been hooked ever since.
Okay, thinking about why I joined the Society, astronomy can be quite an insular activity, so it's actually quite nice to meet fellow astronomers, and also we're quite good at giving talks to one another and having good speakers come in to learn. Perhaps, and it's a bit more personal than watching documentaries on the television. So it's a good community, good community, amateur astronomers.
As a child, I used to go with my father to an area of Leicester over around Gypsy Lane and that way that were then open fields, and I would go with my father to stoke the boilers on his glass houses, and in the winter, of course, night sky on a cold evening, and Father would show me the Milky Way and the planets that were visible at the time, and I must admit, as a child, it was interesting but not fully absorbing, shall we say. And it wasn't until much later on, when I was in the RAF in Malta during the war, when everything was of course blacked out, then the night sky was wonderfully visible.
Some members are so dedicated to the hobby they even have their own observatories or make their own telescopes.
Okay, well this is the sauna that was built in the bottom of the garden by the previous occupants when we first moved into the house, and I didn't particularly want a sauna, so when I got this telescope a couple of years ago, decided it needed a home, and a simple way to do it was to cut a hole in the roof, as you'll see through here, and put a sliding garage door on top. Just happened to live around the corner from a place that installs up and over doors all over the country, and I went to them and said, can I buy a door off you? And they said, well, there's all these scrap bins, just take away whatever you want. So that was my joy, and my wife did actually take a picture of me diving in a very large skip for components. Anyway, the result is we have a very, very cheap observatory. It's a push-to telescope. I have to look through the viewfinders and find my way around the stars. But we've only just got it operational, so haven't got very much of interest yet. I'm more interested actually the construction than the observing, but that's me.
First of all, I saw an advert in a book called Practical Mechanics magazine. There was an advert, a chap called Mulligan was offering how to make an astronomical telescope mirror, and it cost 1 shilling and sixpence. So I sent for it, and I found out from him where I could get the appropriate glasses, and then did a hunt around in Leicester for the appropriate grinding grits, and there was a place on Rutland Street where I could get rouge for polishing the mirrors, and cut a long story short, we made a 6-inch mirror.
They talked a little about their roles within the society.
I've given several talks over the years, either about my own equipment or my career in X-ray astronomy, but I've just joined the committee. I'm not sure what Anne's got in store for me to work on, but I suspect she knows what she wants me to do. I'm always full of opinions and things. I try and keep people talking about things and try and extract interesting information about them, so out of them. So I've got a good I've got a good wide interest in things, not too single-minded about a particular activity.
Well, I am the president of the society, so it's my job to I introduce the meetings, hopefully keep them flowing, and I do organise the speakers for the society as well. And I like to sort of, make it my business to get to know the members and to find out what they, want from the society, and find out a bit about them and what their general interests are in astronomy.
The Society also holds regular stargazing events where members can come along and learn about the current night sky, set up their own telescopes and do some astrophotography.
In the local community aspect of the Society is quite interesting, especially with the Brian Cox effect. We've been organised a few events on the Stargazing Live bandwagon and had people in Abbey Park. Unfortunately, it was very cloudy that night, but they went away having enjoyed themselves, the various talks that were given, I think, and being able to look at a few telescopes, even though we couldn't actually look at the stars. So, and there's quite a lot of joint events with the National Space Centre. The Society goes and takes its telescopes along and gets people looking through them or at them.
Well, there are these stargazing live events which we've done recently in conjunction with the television programme, but it is, observing events with, the public that are invited to at the Space Centre and at Abbey Park. We also have done a number of events recently with some local schools, a high school in Loughborough, primary schools, because, particularly if you can get children interested in astronomy, then often you've got them sort of captured for life. And, if any scout group or local interest group or, someone wants to talk about astronomy, we can normally supply someone who will be able to give them that.
There are many ways you can get involved with the Society. You can attend meetings and talks as a non-member to get a taste of what the Society is like, or you can visit their website or contact the Society by email.
Astronomy is a hobby, an interest that anyone can have regardless of their sort of background. You don't need a lot of money to get started in astronomy. You can get started by just using your naked eyes, but obviously as the years go on, people do want more expensive equipment, but it doesn't have to be done like that. So I would implore anyone who sees this to come and join us at one of our meetings at the National Space Centre on the 2nd and 4th Tuesdays of most months of the year.